All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? It is hour one of Jon and Jim. Great show lined up. Stacy, Terry, Hudson, women's basketball coach at San Diego State. It's Women's Mountain West Media Day today. She'll join us at 3:30. We'll be in Vegas tomorrow for the men's event. Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker, will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Speaking of scary, Jim versus Amazon Prime Day. That could be a house in the scary museum or wherever you were.
It could be a house.
So Jim had 16 things. Up to? Would you have 16 things in your cart or 19 things in your cart? So, and you ended up pulling the trigger, right?
So as of the end of the show yesterday, I had 14 items in my cart.
And you were pushing like $800-900, weren't you?
I was pushing at one point like over 1,000. Yeah, it was $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And last night after dinner, me and Aaron were like, all right, we're doing this. Sat down, we had a list of everything we need for our new place, and we got all of it. Here's what we got.
Okay, this is everything you need for the new place. After this, you're set.
Well, not completely set. There's still things that we need, but
no need for a wedding registry.
Right.
I know, but
that's the thing. It's so close to the wedding. That was my theory. I would have gotten anything I need, but if I could hold off, like, do you need like a shower curtain? Probably.
Yeah.
But are there certain things like, do you need a set of china?
No.
Okay, so I wouldn't have gotten the china. But you probably didn't get
china.
Okay, so what'd you get?
Got a vacuum.
Okay.
I said the same thing. Let's wait that one off because we have a vacuum. But the problem is our dog Bentley sheds like crazy.
Okay.
And she was adamant, like, we have to get a vacuum. Like, okay, I agree. We got to get a vacuum because there's like just so much dog hair every single day around the house.
Okay. Dog hair everywhere.
She really wanted a rug cleaner. So she got a rug cleaner.
A rug cleaner to go with the vacuum? Like you
dude, we have 3 vacuums now. We have a regular cordless vacuum. We have a special dog hair vacuum. And then she got a rug cleaner for our carpets.
You should have the cleanest house ever.
Yeah, seriously.
We probably will for our rugs. I bought an espresso machine.
Just why not?
I mean, screw it.
Again,
right?
that's something I'm waiting off probably until the wedding. Someone could buy that for you. Do you have to have espresso over the next couple of months?
It's $100 off.
$100 off. Had to have it.
Guy math.
Okay.
We got a new rug for the living room. Got a new rug. It was a $400 rug. It was on sale for $100. End up getting a new rug.
Okay. They sell rugs on Amazon. Like, how many rugs are there? Like millions? So many rugs.
Type in rugs on Amazon. You're going to find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rugs.
So you found the perfect rug.
Probably not the perfect rug.
It really ties the room together.
Yeah.
It really does. A filtered shower head.
I don't even know who that is.
What do you mean? It's exactly what I just said it is. It's a filtered.
I've never heard of the thing.
So you can drink the shower water.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like a shower head that filters what?
Is
this just water?
Yeah, but it's like
you need special water?
Clean water.
Dude, people have been around for like 1,000,000 years.
Okay, this isn't the Ice Age.
What else did you get?
I also got a new knife set.
Right. The $35 knives.
No, it was actually a little more expensive than that. I upgraded. It took me a while. You will not believe how much time I spent looking at freaking knives last night.
I will. I
probably way too much time. Way too much time. And a crock pot.
Those are good. Those have value.
Good. Yeah.
They do. And this was a nice one. It was like originally $180 and it was on sale for $80.
By the way, speaking of the baseball playoffs, Bryce Harper, as he typically does, has just hit a 3-run home run for the Phillies in Game 3.
Must be nice.
I mean, this guy, and listen, Game 1.
You're like, I don't want to talk about Amazon anymore.
I really
Shut
don't.
up. You didn't ask how much money I spent?
$600. Because you put it on Twitter.
I did, yeah.
600?
I spent $600. I also bought a new microphone for the Wrap Up Show podcast, by the way.
Good. I'm excited about that.
That was my favorite part of the whole purchase. This new microphone and the microphone stand.
All right, so $600.
And then she spent $250. So we made the dent last night in Amazon.
You did, absolutely. I'm glad we're going to Vegas tonight.
We're helping out the economy.
Should be really fun. We're going to be sitting there like in the penny slots.
We will be.
Bryce Harper, whatever you think about Bryce Harper, man, he comes through in some moments, doesn't he? 3-run home run in Game 3 against the Braves today, as the Phillies have taken a 4-1 lead. Last year's postseason against the Padres. Last year's postseason in general for the Phillies. I mean, he has just been so darn clutch That's like the opposite of what we saw from the entire Padres team this year. Like, I don't remember any clutch 3-run home run all year from the Padres.
I do, except it was in a meaningless game versus the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium when Juan Soto hit a 3-run homer in the ninth inning.
Fair. But to compare it to this.
Oh, no, I understand.
Like, they literally, in 162 regular season games, had like 5 clutch moments. This dude's had like 5 clutch moments in the last 2 postseasons, maybe more than that.
Pretty baller of him to go to the game today wearing a Deion Sanders shirt, the message of it's personal, and then backing it up with a 3-run homer. Also, kind of amending his boneheaded play in the end of game 2 that cost that. I didn't say it cost him the game, but it was the end of the game.
He's just, here's the thing. At the end of the day, if Bryce Harper makes a mistake, all players make mistakes, but
he backs it up.
He backs it up. He does. He's come through time and time again. So this game's going on in Philadelphia. We learned late yesterday, I think right at the end of our show, Hector Gomez, covers Major League Baseball, tweeted that Fernando Tatis Jr. is expected to play upwards of 20 games in the Dominican Winter League, playing for his father, Estrellas. This has been a topic of conversation, Jim, over parts of the last 2 or 3 years, whether Tatis would play winter ball or not. I hate to be the wet blanket guy, but you know me. I'm a wet blanket guy.
I'm the more wet blanket guy.
You are. But when it comes to, listen, there are so many question marks about the Padres in 2024. I'm not trying to add additional question marks about their health. He's 24. He's coming off a year in which he was healthy, not overly productive, but healthy. Why are we risking anything with the $300 million man who just completed his age 24 season to go play for his dad in the Dominican for 20 games? Is it worth it?
We were just, picking fun of Jim about, his knife set and, did you need that stuff? Do you need to play winter ball? How many years are you in the league? Do you really need that winter ball thing other than just to do a solid for your dad? All you're doing is just risking getting hurt.
How many, and to that point, how many things in life do you really need? Do you need an espresso machine?
No.
Do you need a filtered shower head?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Do you need a crock
pot?
A new rug?
But are you saying sometimes you just got to live?
Sometimes
you can actually eat with a crock pot.
Sometimes I'm going to do what I want to do. And if I want to go and spend $600 on Amazon and buy a new microphone and buy a new whatever and buy a new filtered shower head, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but you know what you said yesterday? You know what you said yesterday before you did any of it? You said, I'm going to go home and talk to Aaron. That's what you said.
Well, you don't think the Padres knew about this?
But I'm saying, he doesn't work for himself. He's not paying himself the $340.
John, you can't tell me that the Padres are wait a second.
This is the same Padres organization that I thought he had to do a solid for the Padres organization 12 months ago and have shoulder surgery off the PEDs. Is this something? I get it. You got to live. He's 24. It's playing for his dad. But what good comes of it? What's the best thing that happens? He finds his power that he had lost in 2023, finds it in the Dominican Winter League.
Dude.
And that carries over. And what's the worst thing that happens? He gets hurt.
It would be one thing if this was coming off of a year where Tatis was consistently injured.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would be like, dude, come on. What are we doing?
Okay.
But actually, for the first time in his career, he finished the full season.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did he finish the full season, he finished the full season relatively healthy to our knowledge.
I think so.
Without any types of I got to go get this cleaned up or that cleaned up. It's finishing a season for the first time in his career healthy with not needing any surgery, nothing. So that's where I'm at is because of that, I think he's earned the right to go and, hey, he wants to play winter ball, he can play winter ball. If he gets hurt there, then yes, we'll talk about it. And then he'll never be able to play winter ball again. And it will be a huge story and we'll freak out and I'll scream and you'll scream and you'll be like, what are we doing here? Blah, 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 blah. But like I said, sometimes do you need to do something or do you need to have something? Do you need to have the espresso machine? No. But do I want it? Yeah, maybe that's Tatis. He's a ball player. He wants to go play baseball.
Ball player. Real quick, Brent.
Ball player.
Real quick, though, and I'm with you. There's a difference between need and want. But I'm not comparing him playing professional baseball in the Dominican to his offseason activities of a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are gonna whatever he was doing that offseason when he hurt his wrist.
He's riding a moped or not moped, four-wheelers. Or
my point
whatever.
is you can always move that line. You can always say you and Aaron could go four-wheeling or whatever that's called. But like, if you're a professional baseball player with a $300 million deal, maybe it's not the best idea. Like, he's an established major league star.
Mhm.
Listen, if you want to play more in spring training, understandable. If you want to play in the WBC, it's basically part of Major League Baseball at this point. The Dominican Winter League, I understand it. Hopefully he'll be fine. He might just DH. They haven't determined what he's going to do. He could DH. He might play
I like
right.
how Hector Gomez mentioned shortstop.
Mentioned
I
short.
was like,
what? Yeah, so I'm just crossing my fingers, Jim, because we've both seen enough of Tatis where it's always a factor and a storyline. It's happened a lot. And just because it didn't happen in the regular season, thankfully, doesn't mean it's not going to happen again.
Well, you know what? This is another opportunity for him to show is that how he's changed and how things are different. Before this year and before everything, I would have not been for this. I would have been totally against this, and I would have been upset about it. But now, after this season, I think he's earned back some trust after what he has done this year and how he has performed, maybe not to the level of his expectations and everyone else's expectations of him. But, it's like, hey, if Jones is good, he gets a cookie. If he keeps being bad, he's going to not get a cookie and be in timeout. I think Tatis has been relatively good this year, how he performed on and off the field. It was relatively quiet. I mean, did we talk about Tatis at all besides on the field stuff this year?
Yeah, but you get a full cookie off the year. Like, dude, it's like the day before you flunked preschool.
Yeah, but eventually Jones is going to get old enough that you're not going to have to give him a cookie to do everything. He should just do it.
And I'm saying, using your argument from a year ago, 2021 wasn't that far, or 2022 wasn't that far off. PEDs, off-field injury, he's already earned it all back in a year.
I'm not saying he's earned it all back, but I think if you're healthy and you want to go and play, and the organization's like, yeah, okay, we trust you now.
I guess the organization's saying that, right? He wouldn't do it against the organization's wishes.
It's not that big of a deal to me, honestly.
Well, yes, he was healthy last year. And did he play winter ball last year? He did not.
No, he wasn't healthy
because he was having surgery.
Well, I know. But that was the only year, though, that I think he did not play winter ball.
He tried to play the year his wrist was hurt.
Yep.
He was going to play, but
I'm
he
just
didn't.
saying maybe him not playing winter ball contributed to him playing more games in the regular season because he didn't, overexude himself.
All I'm saying is this, and maybe it's just the way it's probably my mother that's responsible for this.
Probably.
But I'm saying put everyone in bubble wrap and break them out March 20th in Korea for the Padres-Dodgers game, because you already have Darvish, Musgrove question marks on health. You have Machado question mark on health. And nobody needs any additional health concerns heading into 2024. They got enough to worry about, even if they're fully healthy, coming off the disaster of 2023.
I understand it, but you can get hurt doing anything.
True, with your knife set.
Espresso
maker, you get burnt.
You could, you could do something in your everyday life, and hurt yourself. Oh no, the knife slipped. Boom. I'm in surgery.
That's why I use butter knives.
You don't even cook, John.
Correct.
You don't even know what a knife looks like.
I have plastic knives.
Exactly.
Smart move.
All right, here's what we got going on, by the way. Stacy Terry Hudson from Vegas, San Diego State women's basketball coach. She'll join us at 3:30. We're going to Vegas tonight. Are you ready for that? Okay, we're going to Vegas tonight. Do you have any idea about our travel? Jim texted me last night. He's like, do we have to leave the show early for our flight? I'm like, what are you talking about? No, that's the whole point of booking the flight after the show.
You're my travel agent.
I really am. I sent you your boarding pass.
I know. You did
I've got everything handled.
Right. That's how I like it.
The one thing we need to do when we're there is see the Sphere.
Okay.
And I'd prefer to see it at night. So I say when we get in,
just go to the Sphere.
Well, maybe drop our stuff off and then go to the Sphere.
Well, I got a backpack. I don't need to do anything.
Here's the other thing, because we're staying together.
I say, how much?
We're staying in the same room
for one day.
Well, we're staying in the same room, unless you want to pay for your own room.
One bed.
You just spend $1,000. Yeah, one bed.
One twin bed.
No. But we are staying in the same room. And here's the thing.
Did you get us a suite?
I don't think so. And here's the thing: the media poll comes out at 7 a.m., which means I will be up well before 7 a.m.
Oh my!
And I'm going to open the curtains, and I've got a morning routine. I'm going to be playing hymns or yoga type music. And so get ready to get up around 6 in the morning.
Well, then get ready to stay up till 2 a.m. like me. Because
that's fine though. I can do that. I can do that. I can go on 4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try not to wake you, but I'm going to be literally all have been out of the room. I've like interviewed like 6 people. All have done a million things, and then I'll come back in the room, and you're going to be like, "What time is it?" Like, dude, we got the show starts in like 30 minutes.
We have to. What are we doing? Just snoring.
What time is Dodgers Diamondbacks tonight?
6.
Okay. So Dodgers Diamondbacks in Arizona.
We might be in the air.
We may be in the air. Diamondbacks trying to complete a sweep of the Dodgers.
It's a 40-minute flight, so it doesn't really matter.
Didn't the Diamondbacks say earlier in the week, did you hear this? Like some official said, listen, if the Dodgers win the series at our park, they can go celebrate in the pool like they did years ago, right? That controversial celebration in Arizona. You think if the Diamondbacks win tonight, they're celebrating in that pool? I do.
I think so.
Probably.
I think they are. That's like a tradition there. Is if you every time I think the Diamondbacks have won anything,
they've been like celebrating that thing.
Pool time.
It's been a while since they've been in the pool,
and especially that one time when the Dodgers clinched there and they went in the pool, and that was if I were a Diamondbacks fan or cover that team, I would not be cool with that at all. If I was a player too, like
I know,
what are you doing?
Yep.
Excuse me. So absolutely, if the Diamondbacks win tonight, I hope they're celebrating in that pool.
One thing I know is the Dodgers will not be celebrating the pool. If they win the series, it'll be in LA. They got to get back to LA.
Yeah, Jim Facts.
Jim Facts. Yeah. You like that?
Down 2-2 in their 5-game series, then you win 3 in a row, and the last game would be in LA.
You understand that?
I got it, John. Yeah.
Do you?
I did, yeah.
Look at Jim. Wow. It's come so far.
I know I have.
In such a short period of time.
It's the espresso machine that I bought.
It must be that.
All that caffeine's just triggering his brain cells.
And I haven't even had anything yet. Just wait till I have it.
What's more improbable? Diamondbacks over the Dodgers this year or Padres over the Dodgers last year?
I would say Diamondbacks. Over the Dodgers this year.
Even with last year's team winning 111 games and being like this mighty, I think it's the best team in the history of the Dodgers, right? Regular season.
I think so.
I'm going to say yes.
But it's still the Diamondbacks.
I'm going to say yes this year.
Diamondbacks would be more.
I bet you if you looked at the lines before the start of the game or before the start of the series.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the line heavily favored the Dodgers, and I don't think it heavily favored the Dodgers last year. And now the Dodgers definitely were the favorites last year for sure. But I don't think the line was the same as this year for the Diamondbacks. What
made last year even more improbable for me was once they went down a game. I'm talking about the Padres. They were nearly blown out in game 1. Now they weren't blown out. They kind of kept the wheels on the track, but they trailed like 5-0 immediately.
Remember
right?
Mike Clevenger started that game?
Right. And you're like, okay, this was fun. Nice year. Beat the Mets. You're down 5-0 in the second inning at Dodger Stadium. You have no success against this team. And then everything changed.
Right.
Everything literally changed in game 2, and the rest is history. What do you got, Brian? Oh, I thought you had something. I thought you were looking at something. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a time out. On the other side, Stacy, Terry, Hudson from Vegas, San Diego State's women's basketball head coach. Aztecs picked to finish 5th in the preseason poll. It's Mountain West Women's Basketball Media Day today. We'll be in Vegas tomorrow for the men's event. Stacy, Terry, Hudson, she will join us on the other side. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about this, actually.
Thanks, JD. Appreciate it, buddy. It says baseball is being proposed to the IOC.
You know what that stands for?
Olympic something?
International Olympic Committee.
Yeah. The 2028 LA Olympics.
You know what LA stands for?
Shut up. If it happens, would you support current MLB players participating in them? Yeah, I would.
Great question.
I would. I don't know how it would
Yeah, I don't think you can do that.
I don't think it would work though, because it would be during the summer, right?
But if you're ever going to do it with an Olympics in the U.S., could you stop the Major League season in the U.S. for 10 days?
No chance. No chance.
Could you keep the Major League season going, but just take players off the rosters for 10 days?
Less than 0% chance.
Yeah, because the thing with the WBC is it's not in season.
Yeah, World Series and professional baseball is way more important than Olympics.
Did you see the other sports?
Well, I take that back. Man, probably I don't know about that actually.
Wait, say that again. I think WBC is bigger than Olympic baseball. Olympic baseball, because they don't use pros typically, it's like an amateur sport.
Right.
Did you see they proposed, and I think it's about to be added, flag football for 2028?
Oh, really?
You didn't see that? Flag football is one of 5 sports that they're proposing: baseball, softball, flag football, lacrosse, and cricket. Do you think they'll stop the cricket season?
Can we have Nick Bosa out there? And
I think honestly, I think it will include NFL players. Like Tyreek Hill's like, yo, I'm sticking around. Can you
Dude,
imagine flag football, Tyreek Hill?
you got like Justin Herbert out there throwing
It's just one
bombs
play
to Tyreek
after
Hill.
one play, like back and forth 100 yards with two guys. 200 NFL football.
Oh, it'd be so funny.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see MLB players.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Thanks for the super, buddy.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Head coach of the Aztecs women's basketball team, Stacy Terry Hudson, after leading the Aztecs to 23 wins and a WNIT berth last year. She'll join us next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Phillies Braves, game 3 of that series, all knotted up at a game apiece. The Phillies have now jumped all over the Braves thanks to a couple home runs, 3-run homer by Bryce Harper, and a solo home run by Nick Castellanos. They're up 6-1 there. If the winner of that game moves on, they will take on the winner of the D-backs and the Dodgers series. D-backs looking to close out the Dodgers tonight as they have a 2-0 series lead. Last night, the Rangers closed out The Orioles sweeping them. They're moving on to the ALCS for the first time since 2011. And the Astros beat the Twins yesterday. They have a 2-1 series lead there. What makes the Mercedes-Benz EV different? Electric is what gets you there, but Mercedes is what moves you like no other automaker can. The vehicles are all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Learn more at mbosa.com/EQ.
All right, college basketball basically back. We're going to be at the men's media event tomorrow in Las Vegas. The women's media event for the Mountain West going on today in Las Vegas. And Stacy Terry Hudson, head coach of the Aztecs women's basketball program, back with us on San Diego Sports 760, coming off just a phenomenal year. 23 wins, trip to the WNIT, picked today to finish 5th in the preseason poll here in 2023-24. So, Coach, we always appreciate your time. I know it's been a busy day in Las Vegas. What do our listeners need to know? I mean, a year ago, you win 23 games, but you're replacing a lot of parts. So tell us about this new version of the Aztecs heading into this November.
Yeah, it's exciting because, we got a good group returning and we've added some really key pieces. So I'm really cautiously optimistic about where we could go. So right now we're just trying to, introduce everybody to Aztec basketball and get everybody acclimated to what we're trying to do. So changing some things up, like you said, we lost a good piece of our scoring, but we got a lot coming back and we're going to add to that. So excited to get going this year.
Yeah, and you lost to Asia Avenger. And how has the transfer portal been affecting the program as far as any positive that you could look from it, and also the negatives that you can talk about?
Right, the portal definitely giveth and it taketh away. So losing Asia was tough, but we were able to get some other kids in the portal to help fill that role. So last year we were really good because we were older. Someone, much smarter than me said it's better to be older than young. So we did a great job of recruiting in the portal and got some great pieces. And it's interesting to try to find the balance, right? To make sure that you got some young kids in your program that you can grow and continue to keep, but then get some things out of the portal. So it's an interesting time for basketball, with men and women, with NIL and with the portal. So we're just trying to find the balance and put the best team we can on the floor.
Stacy Terry Hudson with us right now. She is the head coach of the Aztecs women's basketball program. They will get underway Monday, November 6th in Portland, against Portland on the road to begin non-conference play. So, Coach, we saw today that Trinity Zamora was named Mountain West preseason co-freshman of the year. What can you tell us about Trinity and what you expect from her here this year?
Trinity's a great player. She's a winner. She won in high school. She won in AAU. So we love to recruit those freshmen that know what it takes to win. So we're excited for her. Watching her grow over these last couple of weeks has been really fun. I'm throwing her in so many different situations that she probably hasn't been in, and she's really shined. So excited for her. She wants to learn, plays really hard, and I definitely believe her best basketball is ahead of her. Glad she's on our team and excited for her in this honor, but it's the preseason, so we're excited about it, but we got to put some work in and we'll be happy if that's the outcome at the end of the season.
You have a pretty tough non-conference schedule. You're going to have, you have Stanford in your non-conference schedule. So what are you hoping to learn about your team before conference play starts this year?
Each game, I think we're going to grow. That's the goal. Obviously, we want to win games, but most importantly, we need to grow to prepare for conference. 5 of the teams that were playing in the non-conference were postseason. 5 of them had 20-plus wins. So this preseason is really going to challenge us to prepare for conference and see what we're made of. We're going to try to come back and play that Aztec defense that you guys are used to seeing. We did a great job of that last year. So trying to defend the 3-point line at a high level and get back and make people take tough shots. They always say tough twos. That's our goal. We don't want anything easy. So we're going to rely heavily on our defense and figure out our offense.
Stacy Terry Hudson with us. Media day in Vegas earlier today. The Aztecs in that preseason poll picked to finish in 5th place in the Mountain West. So we mentioned Trinity Zamora. Who are some other impact newcomers we could expect to see here this upcoming season for your team?
Yeah, we got quite a bit returning, and they were in supportive roles last year, but really expecting them to step up, and Abby Prohaska and Kim Villalobos. So we have some experience coming back, and two kids that were injured. One kid that was injured, Megan Fiso, will be able to play for us this year. Kylie Pepe, a returner. And then obviously we had a young lady who was sitting out, transfer from Utah State, that didn't get to play last year, Adriana Quezada, that we're going to rely heavily on both sides of the floor. So I like our older group, as I like to call them, coming back. There's a lot of experience, a lot of games that have been played collectively. But we were able to get a young lady out of the portal, Jada Lewis, who will really help us shoot the ball. And she made 81 threes last year, really deadly three-point shooter. And then you mentioned Trinity and the rest of our freshman class, and Mia Davis and Alyssa Jackson. I'm expecting big things from them. We're not deep in a lot of positions, but we have quality people in those spots. So looking to grow them and continue to get better each time we get on the floor.
What's your expectation for the league in a whole for this year? How do you view the Mountain West Conference this year for women's basketball?
Right. That you mentioned they picked us fifth. And to be honest, I think that's probably where we are. Like you said, we lost a lot, and this league is really, really good. There's great coaches and great players. And so, we're going to take it game by game, but I think it's going to challenge us. I think we have enough talent to compete and definitely finish the top half of the conference. But we're going to have to figure it out, and I'm excited for these young ladies because they come into practice every day, ready to get better. But it's going to be a fun year in conference that got great teams. I mean, UNLV is bringing almost everybody back. They were 31-3, I think, last year. Colorado State has improved their roster. Mountain West Player of the Year on their team. Boise's great. Wyoming's great. So it's going to be tough, but I think it's going to be an exciting year.
San Diego State again gets underway on the road to Portland November 6th. The home opener Friday, November 10th. Cal Baptist at Viejas Arena. Basketball, thankfully, is back. And Coach, we appreciate your time. Hopefully everything went well in Las Vegas, and we're looking forward to seeing your team on the floor coming up in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on. You guys travel safe.
All right, thanks so much. Stacy Terry Hudson, head coach of the Aztecs women's basketball program, 23 wins. Just a season ago. There was obviously all this attention on the men, rightfully so, national championship game appearance. But for the women's program, they hadn't won like that in a period of time.
No.
So to win 23 games, get to postseason play, certainly something to build off.
It was a nice year for the women and the men's basketball program.
Nice combined year,
Nice
right?
combined year.
Yeah, it's a decent year.
Yeah, 23 wins for the women's team and national championship game appearance for the men's team. Not bad. Not bad.
Man. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We'll talk to Brian Dutcher. Obviously, he'll be there. Lamont Butler and Darion Trammell will be in Las Vegas tomorrow. But, I mean, you think about the week before the Final Four, one of the biggest moments in the history of San Diego State University was Darion Trammell's. It was his free throw against Creighton, helping lift San Diego State to its first ever Final Four. A week later, Lamont Butler has one of the most epic plays in the history of the city of San Diego.
You almost thought that free throw by Darion was going to be the newest San Diego moment.
Right?
And it's like, no.
Just kidding.
We're going to have not only one of the best moment in the program's history, but one of the best moments in the Final Four history as well, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, I remember getting back from the Final Four from Louisville and the crowd's reaction to Darion. Yeah. Right? This is back from Louisville making the Final Four. Exactly. Yeah. Right outside Fowler Athletic. And then, of course, a week later, and by the way, Darion was the most outstanding player of the South Regional. I look back at the play-by-play earlier today. He had an 8-0 run himself when the Aztecs went down 9 against Alabama. Took a timeout.
And that game against Alabama, it was like, okay, one, how is Darion going to match up defensively
with his size?
With the size and the guard size of Alabama.
Remember, Brandon Miller was like a 6. How big is Brandon Miller?
6'8", I think.
Yeah, 6'8", like outside scoring threat.
And Darion Trammell was arguably the best player on the floor the entire game.
Yeah, I honestly think he was. And then they beat Creighton 2 days later. Darion with that. Think about that for a second real quick. You need a free throw to basically move on. You're not trying to hit the second. Like, if there's one of the two free throws that you have a better chance of making, you would think the less pressure would be on the first. He misses the first.
And you're like,
at that point, I'm like, I can't make the second.
I would be shaking.
Like the first, maybe.
I would easily probably not hit rim. I would just, it would be so far.
Dude, it would be no. But you remember after he made the free throw, Creighton then throws the ball to the other end of the floor. It's tipped out of bounds, and they're reviewing the clock for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it took like 10 minutes.
And the game ended. We're like, there's no time on the clock. They reviewed it. Like, how much time is on the clock? That's the way San Diego State made the Final Four. It was like a clock review. Oh, you're going to the Final Four. There's no time left.
And then you got Adam Seiko like crying.
Dude, I'm crying.
And the crowd's go like, what is happening right now? And you have was it Dave Velasquez who went on with Ted after that game, or was it the FAU game? Because I remember he went on and he had a very emotional post game chat with Ted where he started crying, and it was the emotions that came out. And I don't know if it was after Creighton or if it was after FAU. But it was one of those games. I know that.
I mean, it was just so emotional. It really was. To see San Diego State make the run that people had waited for them to make, right? Like every team wants to make that run, and for San Diego State to make it a year ago, we'll see if they can follow
do that
up.
again.
Let's do it again.
Okay.
Let's do it again. All right. So Rangers, what a season it's been, right? They are through, and they've completely changed their organization with a GM change. What can be learned in San Diego from the Rangers route to the American League Championship Series? Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker, will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Great giveaway for you. We'll share with you on the other side as well. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, what the Padres can learn from a leadership change with the Texas Rangers that has turned around that organization. That's next. All right, Jon and Jim back with you on our way for Vegas tonight. We'll broadcast live from Resorts World tomorrow. Mountain West Men's Basketball Media Day. Brian Dutcher, Lamont Butler, Darion Trammell, Mountain West Commissioner, Mark Few, Gonzaga's head coach. Will all join us tomorrow here on Jon and Jim. Do you know what time our flight back is tomorrow night?
No, I don't. I told you, you're my travel agent. I
know.
have no clue.
Well,
I'm
here's
just
the thing.
going wherever
If
you
you
tell me
want
to
a
go to.
$50 flight, which is what I arranged for you, if you want a $50 flight, you're going to make some concessions.
Now, did you have us on the same flight coming back?
Yes. See, initially, this is what I said. Initially, I said, hey, do you want to do same day? And we were like, we're going to leave like 6 a.m. and come back late. You're like, I can't leave at 6 a.m. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'd prefer to stay overnight. But so I was going to do overnight, and then you were maybe going to do same day, but you're like, you're not going to make a 6 a.m. flight or an 8 a.m. flight.
Zero chance, yeah.
So we're on the same flight back, obviously, and the same flight there. So we leave tonight like 8 p.m. Sure, makes sense. 6 o'clock show. Our show ends.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're coming back a little later than that. Just a little bit.
When you say little bit, do you mean just like an hour?
Maybe
or...
two. Maybe two. We have a 10 p.m. flight back
no!
to San Diego. But I'm thinking
That's
like
not bad.
that's not terrible. You're
That's
up
not
late. Now, is it gonna be on time?
We'll see.
Arguable. I mean, Spirit.
We might be better off walking home.
Remember last week I went to Vegas to see my brother for the night, and that was like the worst idea ever.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
I have no idea. In retrospect, I
How
really
did you
should not
make
have
it back?
I have no idea. I did because I made
was
it back.
scouting for tomorrow.
I was scouting.
You were
Yes,
scouting, yeah.
I was
You were just seeing how it was to make quick flights to
Vegas.
to Vegas.
Exactly.
It's like, why can you? I don't know, man. I
right.
gotta be there tonight.
So here's the thing. You came in hot related to the Rangers and the fact that they changed their GM this season.
Yeah.
And they've gone all the way from whatever they were, 65, 70 win team a year ago, not just to the postseason, but now to the American League Championship Series. Of course, they hired Bruce Bochy.
What?
And the Padres, of course, have stood pat with their GM. But you're using the Rangers as an example of you can make change and you can win in quick, short order.
Well, yes.
Mhm.
So Chris Young,
Yeah,
got hired as the new GM. He joined the Texas Rangers as the executive vice president and general manager on December 4th, 2020. All right. Then he assumed the entire baseball operations. So he became AJ Preller.
Yeah.
On August 17th, 2022 of last year.
Okay.
And my whole point here is I see people talking about, and even you to an extent, if you change the GM, how can you win right away? That guy's going to come in here. It's going to be take you a while. And what can that GM even do? And it's just going to be tough. I would say, look at Chris Young. He's been there for a couple years, and he assumed the president of baseball operations as just last year. And now they're in the championship series. And then you might say, well, it's the exact same thing the Padres did last year. Not really, because AJ Preller has been here for 9 seasons.
Wait, Chris Young was the GM under Jon Daniels?
And then Jon Daniels, I don't know if he stepped down or if he got fired, but Chris Young took over that role
As the president.
as the president of baseball
But
operations.
are we giving Chris Young maybe a bit too much immediate credit if he was already the GM of the organization and the 3 years he was there? Like this was the rebuild. 22-38, the 60-game year, 60-102, 68-94, and then it clicked. And they spent a lot of money, by the way, the last 2 off seasons as
Traded
well.
for Scherzer. They signed DeGrom, which was a bust right now.
Right.
They signed Corey
Seager,
Seager, Simeon.
Yeah. So they've spent.
They've spent kind of like the Padres have spent. They've spent a bunch of money. They don't have much homegrown talent on their roster. And he went out and hired Bruce Bochy this year. So you're like, oh,
Which is a great hire.
Which is an amazing hire. We'll talk about him a little more coming up. And you're like, well, AJ hired Bob Melvin. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of AJ, for me, enough's enough. And changing the GM doesn't mean you can't win the following year. Changing the president of baseball operation with the core that they have here doesn't mean they can't win next year.
I agree with that, but the opposite side of that coin is it doesn't guarantee anything, and just because Preller is back doesn't mean they can't win either. As much as skeptical as we may be,
I get that.
So there's no guaranteed path to 2024 success. Chris Young could take over yesterday as the next GM or president of baseball operations for the Padres. That doesn't guarantee they're going to be better in 2024. You might think their outlook overall is better.
Well, here's another thing that I think the Rangers have that the Padres definitely don't have.
A dome.
A what?
Dome.
Oh, like roof? Oh, for their stadium?
Correct.
Not that, John.
Okay.
True synergy and a relationship between Chris Young and Bruce Bochy.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. I mean, Chris Young just hired Bruce Bochy.
Yeah.
You would hope that would be the case. That would make sense. When you hire someone and the first year you're in the championship series, you would think it would go fairly well.
Right. You're in the ALCS, and that's how everybody thought that it was going to be like with the Padres last year with Bob Melvin.
Yes.
And then it didn't happen the following year. And you heard we all know that the relationship between them has not been good from literally day one. It's been a rocky road. It's been a working relationship. Like, not much time spent, I bet, outside of baseball that they're hanging out or talking. It's like baseball.
They're not like going to Applebee's?
Probably not. I mean, AJ will definitely go to Applebee's, but I don't see Bob hanging out with AJ at Applebee's. I just am looking at it from a standpoint of anybody out there that thinks if AJ Preller got fired this year, that this team would be completely in shambles with whoever the new GM or president of baseball operations would be.
No one said that. No one said they'd be in shambles. Here's the argument I would make. If you change GM, the new GM will put his own spin on it. And the first thing any new GM does, typically, Chris Young was in the organization for 4 years. The only place he could go is up. He won 68 games last year. The first thing a GM is going to do is ask for time. The first thing a GM is going to do is say, hey, this is what we could accomplish with this payroll. Once I'm able to do what I want to do, we can win at a high level. Like, I don't think you would hire a GM because you're not hiring Theo Epstein. Who's your GM even going to be? This goes back to who's your manager going to be? This isn't the greatest job in baseball history, either managerial or general manager, president of baseball operations, because they're payroll issues. This team was not good last year. There's no guarantee you just make these high-level changes and all of a sudden this core performs at a higher level. They just should perform at a higher level, regardless of who the GM is, regardless of who the manager is.
Also, the new GM, whenever or if someone replaced AJ tomorrow, it's also, you don't need to tear everything down.
No, and you can't.
No,
to our collective point.
You almost physically can't.
Almost cannot.
But the point is, like, I don't Preller making for the long term. I just don't. And he has proven that he is not a good general manager. Any fanboy of Preller out there, you can argue with me until you're blue in the face. I will show you the record of AJ Preller, and I will end the argument there. The new guy, whoever that would be, you don't need to tear everything down. But I do think that whoever would come in, I know what Preller is.
Right. So you think the new guy would build the roster better than Preller did? By the way, Bryce Harper has just hit
another home run,
his second home run of the game. 2-1 in the series. They lead 7-1 in the fifth inning. We'll get to your phone call on the other side.
Superstar clutch athlete.
Seriously. We
Must be nice.
We need to discuss this in further detail. We'll get to your phone calls on the other side. Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker at 5:30. We've got Howl O Scream tickets to give away in the 4 o'clock hour. Hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Don't go anywhere. It's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Phillies Braves game 3 of that series. Bryce Harper has gone off. He has 2 home runs in the game, 4 RBIs. The Phillies currently lead the Braves 7-1 in the top of the stupid phone. Whatever, who cares? Braves are trailing the Phillies 7-1. Later tonight, D-backs take on the Dodgers. D-backs looking to close out the Dodgers as they have a 2-0 series lead there. And the Rangers, they're moving on to the ALCS for the first time since 2011, the third team that Bruce Bochy has taken to the CS round in his career. What is this? Oh my gosh.
It's English. Let me see it.
SUPERBOY.
Superbly.
Versatile, all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz. It's impressively techy and surprisingly roomy with available seating for up to 7. The vehicle is all-electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQB.
Jobs at iHeartMedia.com. All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim. Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker at 5:30. We'll get your calls in a moment, 844-570-1360. Before we do that, we just looked it up because we had to. Bryce Harper is having this monster game again in the postseason. You just said it, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. Mm-hmm. His career on base plus slugging in the postseason, and it's a lengthy career for Bryce Harper. His on-base plus slugging is 1,023. Really, really, really good. For the postseason, incredibly good. Compare it to Manny Machado. Fair, unfair? I think it's fair. They've both been players that have signed huge deals with lofty expectations that are basically only awaiting World Series titles. Manny Machado, also a lengthy postseason career, Baltimore, LA, San Diego. Had a nice postseason, by the way, last year in terms of power. Hit 4 home runs for the Padres. He's got a 714 OPS in his postseason career. Harper, 1,023. Machado, 714. No comparison.
No.
Well, you can compare them. One's been really good. One's been mid.
Bryce Harper is just clutch. He's got it. He is him. He has what every Padres fan wishes that they could see from their top stars, and especially this year. I mean, I just put out a tweet like, that's what clutch looks like. The biggest moments when you need your superstars to step up, they step up. And after what happened with Bryce last game, did you see him? Every home run he's hit today, he's been staring down Arcia at second base. I'm not fully sure why, but it's pretty badass to see that.
Is it because Arcia deked him out when he was around second? How so? Or did Arcia laugh in his face after he was doubled up to game 2?
He might have said something post-game.
And it's personal.
Because he did wear the Dion shirt today, and he backed it up. Just the definition of clutch. Bryce Harper is worth every single penny for the Phillies. That culture there, we talk a lot about culture, Manny doesn't believe in culture. Bryce is that culture. The Philadelphia Phillies is Bryce Harper, and you can tell it's just different. With the Padres this year, you didn't see any of that. You didn't see any of that.
Now, to be fair, Manny's postseason last year
Wasn't bad.
Was solid. I mean, he homered in every series. Now, I don't know how impactful. We'd have to go back and look at them all to see exactly how impactful they were. Didn't he have a big home run in game 4 or 5 in Philadelphia? Did he not? I know Juan Soto did in game 5.
I want to say
Maybe
not in game 5 because it was Juan Soto hit the big home run
in the
game
rain.
5,
Yeah.
because the Padres were getting shoved against Wheeler.
But homered in the Mets series, homer in the Dodgers series. Was that off Kershaw? Yeah.
Yeah.
Homer twice against the Phillies. It's not like this guy was a completely lost throughout last year's postseason run. It's just we probably are going to need to see more from him, even more, for the Padres to get to eventually where they want to get to. All right, let's go to the phones here. 844-570-1360. What do you have?
I know why Bryce Harper's staring at Arcia running around.
Okay, what's the reason?
Because post-game, Arcia was quoted saying, "Attaboy, Harper," about his base running blunder. Basically mocking and making fun of Bryce Harper for having the base running mistake the other night in Atlanta.
And he took that comment personally. I mean, I guess you take any slight as a reason to.
When you're like the greats of you, like, dude, you look at Michael Jordan. I know Michael Jordan is the greatest of the great, but you take anything you possibly can and you use that to your advantage because that's what the great players do.
I agree.
And Bryce Harper is one of the great players in the sport, one of the most clutch players in the sport. And it's pretty badass what he's doing tonight. I tell you that he is fantastic.
Yeah, and again, the reason for the comp, and I know it's been 5 years, and nobody was critical of Manny Machado's signing when he landed in San Diego. It was one of the big landmark watershed moments in the history of the organization. But like you were choosing potentially between one or the other, right? And now with the benefit of hindsight, now neither has won a World Series, and we'll see if either ever does. But it is a interesting comparison. Let's go to the phones. 844-570-1360. Dave, thanks for your patience. You're on with Jon and Jim.
Well, patience is always there for my two brothers in arms here. So anyway, no, listen, I don't know if they have a statistic for impact hitting. They should, because that's where really it counts big time. And when the point well taken on Bryce Harper, the man shows up when it counts. And when you go and look at the Padres, you look at the big four, whatever you want to call them. How many times did we sit back and watch the big four when runners were on base, games were critically at a level of needing, a breakout, and these guys all failed miserably because they couldn't handle it. So having said that, getting back really quick to your discussion about GM or no GM in San Diego or getting rid of AJ. Okay, Jon, here's where I cut the mustard with this. We've said this so many times. You've had 9 years or more of specimen sample of AJ. You know what you got, and you know what you don't have. At this point, I think we've had enough of the sample to make a decision to move on. But of course, that's not what was done here. So I'm not worried about what impact that has down the road, because I already know from the 9+ years what we're going to get here already. So I'm willing to take the chances. You can get good GMs, presidents, whatever you want to call them. They're all out there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to take Peter Seidler's check and spend it. What it does take is somebody who knows what in the hell they're doing with the money. And we don't have that here.
Dave, appreciate it. I think a lot of people feel similarly to Dave. I get the point. Yeah. You could just say, are you going to do worse? Like, why not make the change? The guy's had an opportunity. He hasn't taken advantage of it. Someone else's turn.
Yeah. For me, he lost all leeway or wiggle room or giving time after this season. Just the things that happened this year was like, end of the line. You're done for me. I'm done with this. I don't care if you have this plan, because what we said couldn't happen after 2021 happened again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't trust you. I don't trust your vision, and I don't trust the direction that you're taking this franchise. Well, it could, because anything could happen. Sorry, I'm not going to go forward based on hope. Just not going to do it. I live in the now, I live in the present, and I live with facts. And the facts are, you have now been the general manager of this team for 9 years. 7 of them have been non-postseason teams, and you've never won a division, you've never made a World Series, and you've never been to a World Series, and year after year, it feels like there's dysfunction with this franchise over and over and over again. So for me, you're done, but they're not done with him, and they're going to continue for probably the next 3 years.
And for this reason, I'm out. Mark Cuban.
Yeah. For this reason, I'm out.
844-570-1360. We'll get to the wrap in a moment, but Tim has also been very patient. Tim, thanks for calling into Jon and Jim.
Gentlemen, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I want to tell you, I do enjoy listening to you guys, especially Padres, because you're not the flagship, so you can honestly say what you think and not have to, pretend like you're saying something that you're not.
Thanks, Tim.
But let me get to Preller. Boy, I'm an AJ hater. I'm going to say it right now. I'm so done with this guy. But I love when people say he's a great evaluator of talent. And I'm like, can you back that up, please? Name me one player in Major League Baseball, period, that is a perennial all-star, or anybody on the team that this guy's drafted. Name one. They don't exist. So when people say he's a great evaluator of talent, there's nothing there. It doesn't make any sense.
I thanks for the call,
Thank
Tim.
you, Tim.
Appreciate it. I mean, I've said this. You can't draft, you can't develop.
There's some, but they all play for other teams now.
There is it, but right. And I've also heard. No, I've heard this. He's an amazing scout. Oh, if he was scouting, there's no one better.
Okay.
Oh, his draft. You've heard that.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard a lot. Oh, well, this class of draftees, these last 2 years, man, it's special.
Okay.
But is it? I mean, is it going to pan out or not?
And I saw it on social media talking about this draft class and this group of players is special. And you got Ethan Salas. I don't care. You know why? Because we've heard of it before.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard it before with this team during the rebuild with AJ. And what did that pan out to? One NLCS run, and then follow that year with dysfunction. Previous year dysfunction. 3 managers in 5 seasons. Players quitting. Okay, you happy with that? Are you truly happy with that, Padres fans? Because I would bet a lot aren't, and the only a few minority people out there that are just, no matter what, think AJ Preller is this fantastic general manager when really the numbers don't prove it. And you can, again, said, argue me all you want. I got the facts to back it up, and you would be wrong.
I would just say this, and I said this yesterday, I think, I'm not going to die on the hill of putting all my backing in Preller. I'm not going to say don't back him at all or have no faith, Padres fans. We'll see what happens next year. Maybe they turn this thing completely around, and maybe he deserves credit for that happening. But to put all your faith in AJ Preller getting this team to the promised land in 2024 is just not where I'm going to go based on what I saw in 2023.
Well, that's what they're going to
That's
go.
what they're going to do. You're right.
We have to suck it up, and we got to deal with it. And they might win, and then everybody's going to be saying that you guys are idiots for wanting AJ Preller to be fired.
No,
but
yeah, they'll say that about you.
They will, and I'll be like, fine. I also said that they could win, and if they do win, then that's a good thing. But I stand by the point as of right now. Yeah, it's done. But whatever. He's staying forever and doesn't matter.
Winning's a good thing.
Yeah, winning is a good thing, and that would be good.
Yep.
All right, let's get to it.
If the Rangers win the World Series, is Bruce Bochy the greatest baseball manager in history?
So 3 world titles with the Giants. He would have made 3 World Series with 3 different teams, and then he would have 2. He'd have World Series in both leagues. I'm trying to think of anybody's. You got Joe Torre, but he won 4 with the Yankees.
Joe McCarthy 7, Casey Stengel 7, Connie Mack 5, Walter Alston 4, Joe Torre 4.
But what about both leagues? I know it probably doesn't say that there. Now it's such an old thing for these, like Connie Mack.
Maybe could say modern day.
Modern day? Yeah, I think that's probably what I was going with that. Modern day, is Bruce Bochy the best manager we've seen?
Right. Is Bruce Bochy a better manager than Joe Torre was a manager? Remember, Torre didn't win before he got to the Yankees. He had other stops in which he didn't win.
Torre had more to work with.
Braves, Cardinals.
Yeah.
And obviously, Bochy has won. Regardless, he won in San Diego. That's not easy to do.
He has the 5th most wins in postseason history for a manager. And they're 4 wins away from another World Series, his 4th or 5th in his career.
You put him up there among the greats. I don't know if you say he is the greatest. That's what I would say. You'd put him up there among the greats with another title.
Okay, for overall, I agree.
Yeah.
But then what about modern day? Modern day, is he better than Joe Torre? Like, would you take him over Joe Torre in his prime? Like Joe Torre with the Yankees?
Well, I would say that Torre had more to work with when he won all those World Series, and Bochy has done it with less. Like, who thought going into those postseasons with the Giants that was the best team in baseball? Who thought the Texas Rangers this year were the best team in baseball? Not that they've won the World Series, but if they do, it's a good point.
I think, honestly, for me, Bochy, modern day, after what he's doing with the Rangers here, if they make the World Series, if he makes the World Series, it's a lock for me. He is the best manager in modern baseball, kind of period. If he wins it, I mean, dude.
70470 start it with team. Agree with that or not? Next question.
Who's going to lose first, the Niners or the Eagles?
John, you want to answer this one first?
I haven't really looked at like upcoming schedules, believe it or not. But I know that the Niners have to go to Philadelphia. They're not going to both be undefeated when they meet in Philadelphia, right? That's in December. So there's no way they're both undefeated when they meet in December, right? That would be crazy.
Well,
if it goes that long. I think Philadelphia loses first. I think the Niners have been more complete of a team. I haven't looked at the upcoming schedules, but I think the Niners have been more impressive through 5 games than the Eagles have been, even though they're both undefeated.
You have right now. What's up, Brent?
I was going to say, here, the Eagles got the Dolphins, the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills, and then the Niners.
The Niners have the Browns this weekend, Minnesota without Justin Jefferson, the Bengals at home, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, and then at Seattle before they face the Eagles.
The Eagles. The Eagles will lose first.
Eagles have a tougher schedule.
Chiefs, Bills, and Cowboys.
I do think for the Niners, if you're looking at where it's going to be their toughest stretch of the year, is that 3-game stretch where they go at Seattle, at Philadelphia, home versus Seattle. That's going to be tough. But I'm going to say they're both undefeated heading into December 3rd in Philadelphia. And that winner of that game will get the number 1 seed in the NFC.
I mean, I don't see that.
No?
I could see the winner of the game getting the 1 seed. I don't see both teams being undefeated. The seasons are so long I don't see that. The teams are right. There's enough parity that Philadelphia and San Francisco shouldn't run away from everyone.
Could you imagine if that was the case?
It'd be a big game. You could say that could be a big game.
And Fox would be like, no way are we letting you flex this at all.
True. Is that like, that'll be on like, is that like the Amazon Prime, like Wembley game?
Which one?
Like, I'm saying, like, I hope that's not some random, like, it's not like a Thursday game, is it?
No, it's a Sunday game. 1:25 kickoff. So it's on Fox. It's going to be probably the game. It's obviously going to be the game of the week. It won't be a nationally televised game, though, is what I'm saying.
It will or will not?
It will not.
But at 4:25, isn't that the national game 2 of the doubleheader game?
Well, if you're in, say you're in Arizona and the Cardinals are on, you're not going to be able to get the Eagles and Niners game unless you have Red Zone or Sunday Ticket.
Okay, great. Next question.
This is kind of rhetorical, I think, but do you consider tonight a must-win game for the Dodgers?
What do you think?
Let me think of that real quick. Honestly, no, I think
not really.
Not really. I think the Dodgers should just kind of like ease into this game and get their tickets for Cancun all ready to go. Have all their bags packed and there you go.
Do you know how many times the Dodgers have been in the postseason since 1988?
A lot.
Since the last time they won a true World Series?
A lot.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 times.
How many of the Padres?
17 times without winning a World Series.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Padres have been what, 6?
Padres have been 7 all time.
Yeah.
So 84 was the first, and
96, 98.
Yeah.
5 and 6, and then 2020 and
22. But yes, the Dodgers won in 2020, but you get they've been in 16, 17 times since 1988. And you like to think that, like, hey, you give yourself a chance to win a World Series, you're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And this series isn't over, so we'll see. They could win 3 straight against the Diamondbacks. That, to me, is not the craziest thing in baseball history if that happens. But, like, Man, this happens a lot, doesn't it? With the Dodgers?
I wonder why. It's an interesting thing. And I'm being serious. Like, I wonder why the Dodgers just can't win in, regular years that actually means something. Interesting fact. Interesting thing.
Yeah, Jim's fact.
I know. Jim's fact.
Jim's fact or Jim facts.
Exactly.
All right. Do we have another question?
We do.
We do.
We
Next
had
question.
3. We had 3 questions there. John.
It's 4. Will the NBA enforce load management this year?
So the NBA today said that the data no longer supports load management.
Yeah, because the data supports them making money.
So I'm thinking to myself, wait, what's this data you're talking about?
Right.
Because Kawhi's already been asked about the load management and he pushed back on it. Like, what are you talking about? And then Paul George kind of had a completely different answer. It will be interesting to see if and when, because it's going to happen. Like, who cares? If you're the player and you don't want to play that night, who cares about a fine? The team will just pay for it. It doesn't matter. Kawhi's not going to play more than 55 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not. And I don't know how the NBA is going to truly enforce that other than fining him to a point where it would hurt. But the NBA, I think there's a limit on how much you can fine a player.
Well, yeah, they can't force these players to play.
No.
And Kawhi has said as much. He said the NBA is not going to tell me when my body is ready to play at a high level or not. Like,
Right.
This isn't going to change the way I play. Is it going to change some players' mindsets? I think this is going to take a while. I really do. Like, you've let it out. Can you get it back in, so to speak? Now they have this in-season tournament. Maybe guys playing that. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3 additional games, but you're never going to get the top 10 players in the league playing 78 games again. Like that. That's hard to envision.
And are you okay with that?
No, I think it's a big deterrent. I think it's a big problem for the NBA personally. I really do.
I do too. I also think the scheduling of games makes it so the players are not going to play in these crazy back-to-backs.
4 and 5. Yep.
It's like this. There is in NBA. There's a bunch of scheduled losses on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Always, you're like, oh, that back-to-back there. That's a scheduled loss.
Mm-hmm.
And if we win that game, then great. But I don't expect much out of that one. So it's the NBA's got to work with the players. They can't just force them and tell them they have to play. But also the players can't take advantage of this and be like, yeah, I'm not going to play tonight.
Correct.
If
So I don't know what to do.
If finding them doesn't work, what I would do is I would suspend them games, but not regular season because they wouldn't care because they don't want to play in those anyways. I'd be like, okay, this counts. You're going to be suspended 1 playoff game.
Well,
you do it again, it's going to be 2 playoff games, and do games where they don't want to miss.
But they're also members of a union, and this has
it'd be
been
impossible.
bargained. Like the league can only go so far.
Yeah,
that's the issue from the league's perspective. Maybe the next CBA fixes
their union
it.
agreed to the rules though. So now if they're going to try and go back on it, then they would violate their contract.
All right. So the NBA, nothing is going on right now in the NBA. How do we know that? We'll prove it on the other side when you hear what we play for you. Okay. We also have Hal O'Scream tickets to give away later this hour. Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker, Aztecs Hawaii, Saturday, right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 8 p.m. He's going to swing by at 5:30. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. right now in the NBA, plus your chance to win Howl O Scream tickets coming up later this hour. Stay with us.
This update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Playoff baseball right now in Philadelphia. Bottom of the sixth inning there. Phillies lead the Braves 7-2 thanks to a couple home runs by Bryce Harper. That series is tied at 1 game apiece. And the Astros are looking to close out the Twins tonight. They have a 2-1 series lead there. We're in the middle of the second inning, heading to the bottom of the second. That game is tied at 1 apiece. And later tonight, Dodgers and D-backs in Arizona. D-backs are looking to close out and sweep the Dodgers. They have a 2-0 series lead. And last night, the Rangers, they beat the Orioles to finish off their sweep. They're now headed off to the ALCS, first time since 2011. At Staples, you can count on every print project being perfect. And now get $50 off your print order of $150 or more. Offer ends 10/14. Exclusions and restrictions do apply. See an associate or visit staples.com/print for details. Perfect prints guaranteed at Staples.
All right, Jon and Jim, back with you. What day is today? Wednesday. Brady Hoke Show coming up, 6 p.m.
Oh, I knew it. I told you to start the show. I forgot, huh?
I'm hearing Jonathan talk about it. I'm hearing Fletch talk about it. I'm hearing Rich talk about it. Not hearing Jim talk about it.
Guess that wasn't in your Prime Day cart, huh?
Was not.
Yeah.
It was not. To remember that. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've been very critical of Jim's updates over the years. I hate to be that guy. Jim is the. I'm gonna.
Do it.
I'm gonna kill you right now.
Okay, fine.
Jim is the king. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. Okay. Jim's the king. He's staring me down of saying in his update what happened like days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's what I want in the update. Like, Nick Castellanos is homer twice for the Phillies, who lead 8-2 in the bottom of the sixth inning.
It's Trey Turner.
But you're the guy. I don't know who it was. I just saw the ball in the air.
AJ drafted him.
True. True.
And then traded him.
But you're the guy that
He
on a
still
Monday, you're like, San Diego State basketball beat San Jose State last Thursday, 78-70. I'm like, the game was like a decade ago.
Actually never drafted Trey Turner.
You traded him.
He just traded him.
Good point.
So
But
what
do
were
you
saying?
take accountability for that? That on Monday at 3:00 in the afternoon Pacific, you will tell us about scores from over the weekend. Like Saturday in college football, the Aztecs beat Air Force 18-10. The game was 50 hours ago.
Do you want to know? I probably shouldn't say this over the radio.
You shouldn't.
Do you want to know a little secret about
No,
my updates, John?
that's what I'm saying.
You want to know a little secret?
I know the secret. You don't care about them. That's the secret. It's not much of a secret if you've ever listened to the show.
You said it, not me.
But when I hear Brent, when you're out and Brent does the updates and he tapes, these things are like they put him in the Louvre. He's got like sound, he's got
How can I do
reaction,
sound
he's
when
got
I'm-
commentary.
How can I do that? How can I do that right now?
I don't know. Brent does it. It's
Because
spectacular.
Brent has the board behind him and he has everything at his fingertips.
No, Ernie used to
don't.
plug his computer in and
Do-
play
do you-
different jingles.
That was Ernie's only job.
Yes, you could go over there for the updates and then race back over here.
Let me think about that real quick. No,
I heard J Riff the other day play sound.
that's
because he's
Jonathan-
over there.
That's he's
Okay.
over there.
Okay.
That's one of Jonathan's
right.
main jobs. That's his time to shine, man. Me, updates. Let's just get back in the segment.
70470
Read the
start with
sponsor.
team.
Say a couple things. Tell the score of something.
Read the sponsor in
Well,
quotations.
I can barely read in
Read
the first place, so it's already
the
difficult
sponsor.
for me.
All right, what do you have for us? There's nothing going on with the NBA.
So, yes,
There's nothing going on.
And when
Let's prove that.
when I saw this and heard this on social media on NBA Today,
Okay.
it's like their NFL live show, but for the NBA. You had Malika Andrews. You also had, I think, Perkins. I think Kendrick Perkins was on it. Yeah, exactly. And Brian Windhorst. And it wouldn't be an NBA show without talking about LeBron James, right?
Of course not.
So that's just here's a just really crazy story that nobody asked to hear, but Brian Windhorst is sitting there, who I think he loves LeBron more than he might love his like own family.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a just random story out of nowhere from Brian Windhorst.
You know why he played football?
I mean,
Because of
let's-
Aaliyah.
Wow.
Because he was going to stop playing after his sophomore year, and then Aaliyah, one of his favorite singers, died in that plane crash, and he decided that he was not going to live his life being afraid. And so Aaliyah's passing got him to come off the sidelines. He'd skipped the start of his junior year. He missed the first game of the year. He joined the second game with no practice, no training camp. He played 12 games, had 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns, and was one of the great receivers in the history of the school.
I didn't know that story, Brian.
Cool story, bro.
Wait, what?
Huh? Like, where did that come from?
So he knows more about LeBron than LeBron knows about LeBron. Is that what you're basically saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you think LeBron knows his stats from that high school football season as a receiver? I don't.
This just kind of goes along with, I don't remember if it's Jalen Rose, one of the 80 NBA guys that got fired 2 months ago, came out and said that LeBron's team pushes that they are required to talk about him X amount of times on every show.
Right.
And because I think it was Jalen Rose said that was the one thing he was happy about not being on ESPN anymore, is that he's not going to be forced
To talk about
to
LeBron.
talk about LeBron even when there's nothing to talk about. And this is a prime example
Yeah.
of that.
And he's not making this up. Like, this is
Like, that's an accurate story.
This is an accurate story because in Grant Wall's famous Sports Illustrated The Chosen One piece, this exact thing was in
in the article.
the article
Okay.
about LeBron after the passing of Aaliyah, was, that he persuaded her, you're not promised tomorrow and all this other thing. And that's the reason why he played football. But again,
What the hell does that have to do with anything today, though?
why are we talking about
Yeah,
this?
what are we talking about?
What are we talking
Why don't we
about
talk
here?
about the
The
in-season
season,
tournament?
well, the season
Stop.
starts in 2 weeks. You tell me you don't have anything better to talk about?
All these studio shows revolve around three things. LeBron James. What are the other two?
The Warriors and how everybody hates them.
Okay.
I mean, Kendrick
That's nowhere
Perkins.
near the level of LeBron content. You know what I mean? It's
And-
LeBron and then
and-
everything else.
And then your all-time
Victor?
greatest players.
Wemby?
Probably. Right
Nobody
now.
cares about Wemby compared to LeBron.
I just thought that was interesting.
It's very interesting.
Like, what are we doing here? And Brian Windhorst is
Didn't they send Windhorst to Paris for
Oh
his 30-second
Yes.
interview with Wembanyama?
And his microphone
That
didn't
was
even work.
So funny.
I think I like Windhorst a lot, but man, is he corny.
A little bit.
Like, dude, you try to be less cornier. You can't.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
What are we talking about here? LeBron in high school football. Like, give me a break. Stop doing this to LeBron, bro. Stop doing that.
Dude, what are you doing?
Making the hand gesture. Like,
Somebody help me.
just talk about the sport, not LeBron. LeBron's not the
All right.
sport.
We have Howl O Scream tickets to give away. We don't think they have a Padres house this year. 2023 house.
It's like it's like a history of the Padres. It's the 2021 house.
2019.
It's the 2019 house.
2023.
It's the trades and the disaster of 2015 house. It's the 2010 collapse.
The Hall of Former Padres.
Right. It's just like Hosmer grounding. It's just like a ground ball.
It's a house with all former players that were traded away from this franchise that have flourished in other places.
It's like Jim's Twitter timeline came to life.
It is, yeah. It's just me retweeting every former Padre doing
That's
something
amazing.
good in the postseason or in the regular season game.
All right. If you want a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream, call 844-570-1360 right now. We're going to play Trainwreck Radio. That's trivia. First 2 callers will be our contestants. Again, great prize. 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream going on now. The number to call right now, 844-570-1360. If you want these tickets, these are free. Great prize and giveaway. 844-570-1360. 4 free tickets to Howl O Scream. Call now. That's next. Okay, I can't name two. Luca.
I'm going Luca. All right. Yeah, Luca.
Ah, that's it, right? The other name I had was Jimmy Butler.
That would also be wrong.
That's why they call me John NBA Schaefer. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Who else is on this list, do you think, Jim?
Who else?
Yeah, who do you think's on this list?
Well, I was actually thinking Luca, but
so you like my guess?
I did like your guess.
Okay.
I did like your guess. I'll go with Devin Booker.
No.
Kevin Durant.
No. All right. Steph Curry was first. Lillard was second. They both average about 11 attempts a game. Then LaMelo Ball was third.
Who?
LaMelo Ball.
How many games did he play last year? Come on.
It doesn't matter. He averaged 10.6 3-point attempts a
He played
game.
like 2 games last year.
It was enough to qualify. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on the list. Then Clay was fourth. Donovan Mitchell was fifth. Jason Tatum was sixth. Anthony Simmons was 7. Fred VanVleet was 8, and Buddy Hield was 9. Or it was 9th.
How about that?
How about it?
Alex, congratulations. You've got a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld Howl O Scream.
Luca's 12th.
New twists, turns, and special effects are lurking around every corner with 5 terror-filled houses, 10 scare zones and haunts, and death-defying drops with Rides After Dark. Face your fears with the new Circus of the Damned, now in terrifying 3D. Plus, even more dark magic is lurking around every corner. The screamiest event of the season, now at SeaWorld San Diego's Howl O Scream through October 31st on select nights. For more information, Jim, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com.
You want to call me an idiot real quick after I tell you what happened right now?
You're an idiot. What happened?
That entire segment was muted on YouTube because you had to do your read during the break, so I muted everything.
That's all on you.
I know
that is completely on you.
100%. It's on me. If you're watching on YouTube right now,
imagine sitting there on YouTube watching the entire segment muted.
That's what a lot of people have done.
Are bad.
Sorry.
Right, on the other side, more reaction to Fernando Tatis Jr.'s plan to play winter ball this offseason. Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker, will join us at 5:30. Jim's back page is ahead. It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim next. Windmill Farms, the college area's natural grocer, features organic farm fresh produce and meats, an amazing craft beer selection, a full deli with award-winning sandwiches, and a nutrition section that is second to none. Centrally located off Del Cerro Boulevard, across the freeway from Montezuma Mesa, Windmill Farms is your family-owned market serving the San Diego area for 20 years. Visit windmillfarmsmarket.com to see their weekly specials or check them out on Instacart and have your groceries delivered to your doorstep. Shop local. Shop at Windmill Farms. All right, here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network presented by Mercedes-Benz. San Diego has been named an expansion franchise for the National League. The Padres' 1969 opener will be at San Diego Stadium against the Houston Astros Tuesday, April 8th. Following a 30-52 season, the Clippers have announced intentions to move to Los Angeles for the upcoming 1984 season. And the Aztecs beat FAU in the Final Four this past April on a Lamont Butler jumper at the buzzer.
You just proved my point.
What makes a Mercedes-Benz EV different? Electric is what gets you there, but Mercedes is what moves you like no other automaker can. The vehicles are all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all about yours. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
You're such an idiot.
Breaking news: JFK has been assassinated.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? 3-game winning streak. Look away. All right, hour 3, Jon and Jim. I'm just going off the whatever. Cooper McDonald, San Diego
winning streak.
State.
It's like, yes.
But they had like 9 3-game winning streaks, and they never made it a 4-game winning streak until September.
So when we get to the 4th game, it's like, oh my God.
So the point I was trying to make in my update was that your updates are always behind the times.
Okay. Let's just rewind real quick here. What did I say in any of my updates that were behind the times today?
Today, nothing.
Other than last night, the Rangers, when we went off the air, the Rangers game was still on, and they beat the Orioles, and they're moving on to ALCS. What did I say today? And what have I said recently that has been so just like
it's just, I think, honestly, I think it's a pet peeve of mine. It's probably just me. Hearing sports scores from the day before on an afternoon show the next day in the age of phones and social media is like, to me, like it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I'm not going to read like anything else. I'm not going to read soccer scores. I'm not going to read any like basketball.
Ooh,
I'm not going to.
Are you taking shots here?
No, but that's Jonathan's thing. I'm just not.
So the answer is yes. Are you taking shots here? No, that's Jonathan's thing.
That's what he wants to do. Me, I'm not going to do that. I'm just not, because I like we said, I think the sports update. Now we have to, the little behind the scenes here. Like we have these reads that we have to read every day that are at 3 o'clock, 3:30, and
sure,
and so forth. Right. By the way, I've been reading the wrong reads for like the past year. Did you know that?
Oh, great job.
Well, nobody gave me an updated thing. And so I've been just going off of, I've been reading updates for 1360.
Oh, perfect.
So all of the
Right.
sponsorships have been for 1360, the Patriot.
Oh, good. That's awesome. I'm sure the sponsors will appreciate that.
They didn't, because the other day someone or Usher told me that I was doing the wrong ones, and I get a new code for new updates, and these are finally the right updates for 760.
All right. So it's all, honestly, I'll leave your updates alone. I think you're doing a great job.
It's just like let's just get into the segment.
Yeah, let's
like,
just get into it.
The only reason why I'm doing an update in the first place is because we have reads. We're sponsors.
As we're sitting here right now, and the Phillies hit another home run.
Another one? Who hit it?
And it's Nick Castellanos, I think, for the second time today.
Dude.
And Bryce Harper's hit 2, and Trey Turner has homered. And the Phillies, we'll see if they win the series or not. They said it was personal after game 2 when Harper was called out by the Braves. They're going to lead the series 2-1. And here we are in San Diego. We've been talking about this, and we're talking about Preller's return and Melvin's return and whether Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be playing winter ball. Like, that's what's going on here. Like, there, you got postseason baseball.
Jim Facts.
For a second consecutive year, trying to get to another World Series.
Jim Facts.
And here it's like, how can we get it back to what we saw a year ago?
Jim Facts.
And do you have any faith that's going to happen? You're so annoying. But really, we talked about it earlier. The fact that Fernando Tatis Jr., according to Hector Gomez, is planning to play in about 20 Winter League games. Didn't play last offseason because of injury.
Yeah.
The offseason prior, he actually was planning to play, but had the wrist. We weren't fully aware of it. I say, don't even consider it. It's not worth it. For who, for what? Why even do it? What's the best thing that happens? You hit in the Dominican League. What's the worst thing that happens? Something negative. You get hurt. So that's my opinion on it. I wish we were talking about postseason baseball. I wish we were talking about back-to-back home runs like the Phillies just hit.
Brandon Marsh.
Against the Braves. We're talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. and whether it's appropriate or not for him to be playing in the winter ball this year or in winter ball.
Well, yeah, those are all factual statements.
Thank you.
The Phillies are in the postseason. The Padres are not. Bryce Harper is better than Manny Machado. Those are opinions.
See, people are that is an arguable. That's a controversial take in San Diego.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if it's a controversial take anywhere else.
No, I think why it's like why you think of it first. I don't really think of it first. You kind of brought it to my attention.
I go to free agent class.
It goes back to they were matched up last year in the postseason in the NLCS, and we talked about it. I think you might have pushed back on me. Like, this series is going to hey, you need to have Manny.
I did push back on it.
Put this team on their back and have a good postseason. And you told me like, oh, he's having a good postseason. I'm like, you got to be clutch in the biggest moments.
His postseason last year wasn't the reason why the Padres didn't go further than they went, but he wasn't the reason why they went where they went either.
He was a passenger.
Yeah.
He wasn't a bus driver.
Who was
who said that? It wasn't. It was Charles
that like
Barkley.
A Volkswagen ad?
No, it's a Charles Barkley term talking about Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He said Kevin Durant
hated that.
Kevin Durant needs to be the bus driver, not a passenger.
My point there was you could take any one series and be critical when a player doesn't perform, but if it's the entirety of their career, Kershaw, in the postseason, Machado's postseason career hasn't compared to his regular season career. That's fair. I was just saying that, like, to me, it's not fair to be like, Mike Trout can't hit in the postseason. He's got 3 career games.
Right.
But if he had 33 career games and couldn't hit, that's reasonable. But no, it's inarguable. Harper's been better in the postseason than Machado. Harper's got multiple MVPs.
Yeah.
Machado doesn't.
Nope.
Like, so is it really that controversial to say? It's not trying to be controversial. When I say that Harper's been better than Machado, that's not to say Machado hasn't been really good. You're talking about 2 of the better players in the game, but Harper has been better than Machado. Fair?
Yeah, it's fair. I think watching what Bryce Harper has done for the Phillies the last 2 years and why we're talking about this is because the Padres have players on their team that could be like that could carry the team in a postseason series. And they're superstar players, not just some I'm not saying Hassan Kim's not a superstar player. Well, he's not, but like a role player, a really good role player coming out, and all of a sudden you're the
gets hot for 3 games.
Like, oh, you're the NLCS MVP, and he's, like an average player, right? Like it's not your superstar player. And that's, I think, why we talk about it, is because the Padres have those players on this team. And I think the player that most resembles Bryce Harper is the one that might not be around here very much longer, and that's Juan Soto. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. 100%. I 100% agree with that.
And that's why it's kind of frustrating, I feel like, at least for me, and it might be with some Padres fans as well, watching this and be like, why couldn't Manny have done that last year? Not like, it's not trying to bash Manny like he's not a good player, because he's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
But you're sitting there like, man, I wish my superstar would do that for our team. That's how I view it. And it's not a slight and saying Manny sucks, because he doesn't. But it's almost like a, hey, when you're a superstar player, we want you to perform. We hope that you're performing like that.
What's the saying? Is it heavy is the head?
Oh, that wears
the crown.
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Listen, if Manny was Cronenworth, 7-year, 80 mil, you could critique but he's not going to be the captain, right? He's not the leader of this thing, but he's not the 7-year, $80 million player. Yeah. He's the focal point of the entire organization. When it's good, he gets credit. When it's bad, he gets blame. And that's how it's always going to be during his tenure here. It's going to be based on what they do with Manny, and Manny's going to get the praise or Manny's going to get the criticism. And it's reasonable and fair.
Well, a lot of people don't want to hear it, because it's don't talk bad about our players. It's like, we're not talking bad about the Padres players. We're saying, hey, you're the captain of this team. We want you to perform like that, and they're going to need you to perform like that. If you guys expect to win a World Series, like, your stars have to shine the brightest. The role players. Okay, look at what the Texas is doing. Corey Seager is playing out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy who's been clutch in the postseason, for whenever he's in the postseason. Manny Machado is a great player. I will always push back until I see it happen. I don't consider him to be this super clutch player when in the postseason or in moments down the stretch. He has come up with clutch moments, but there has also been a lot of times when Manny's at the plate and it's like, doesn't come through. Manny Machado, until proven otherwise, I'm going full Charles Barkley, has been in the postseason a passenger more than the bus driver.
I mean, the postseason, it's just factually accurate, right? He's hit 220. He's got his 700 OPS. Mm-hmm. He has appeared in a World Series, albeit after a deadline with the Dodgers. He had a fine postseason last year. We're going to just have to see it on field. I always say this about Manny. Like, his back of baseball card legacy is secure. It's going to hit nearly 3,000. He'll have nearly 3,000 hits or more. He'll have nearly 500 home runs or more. He will be Hall of Fame caliber, assuming health. But at the end of the day, you got to win a ring. Again, not that all baseball players are defined by it. This isn't the NBA. This isn't NFL quarterbacks. You don't have to win a ring to get to the Hall of Fame. But when you get paid $500 million, that's what he's going to make as a Padre. $150 for the first 5 years, $350 for the next 10 or 11. Okay, he's going to make $500 million in guaranteed money from the Padres to do only one thing. It's to win a World Series. Otherwise, it will be seen as not a fully successful run.
And when you sign a player to that much money for that period of time, you sign him not just for his on the field production. You sign him to change the culture of your franchise. Can you definitively say that Manny Machado has changed the culture of the franchise for good? For good.
Dude, he pushed back publicly on the importance of culture.
Yeah.
Like 10 days ago or 3 weeks ago.
858 says, didn't Jim call Machado a clubhouse cancer like 2 weeks ago? Actually, I never said Machado was ever a clubhouse cancer.
No, Machado, just use Machado in his own words. What is this, high school baseball, college baseball? We're talking about culture. I'm paraphrasing now. I mean, this is Machado in his own words.
Yep.
It's not Jim saying he's a clubhouse cancer. And I'm not saying when Manny says that he thinks he's being a clubhouse cancer, but is he the leader that you hope him to be when he says things like that? He's going to be criticized heavily when the team doesn't win. And he's going to be praised often when the team
which
does.
I never understood, and I never understand, because this is going to happen in the future. Manny's not like 40 years old, ready to retire.
Mm-hmm.
He is still in the thick of it. I never understood. I never understand when a star player, mostly just with the Padres, does not perform. It's like viewed as like just this horrible thing to criticize them or to question them. Like, give me a break. This is the big leagues, guys. It's the big
Not
leagues.
just the big leagues. These are the stars of the big leagues. They're all paid handsomely, from Bogarts to Soto to Machado to Tatis. Yeah. It is part of the job. Even if you're the 26th man on the team, you're going to get critique. But when you're the first player, when the expectations heading into the year are who are we going to beat in the World Series in 5 games, and then you're 11 games under 500 in September.
Like, I'm not. I want the Padres to win, but I'm not going to suck up to Manny Machado like some other people in this town when, you know, he doesn't do well. I'm not going to sit there and say that Manny Machado can do no wrong like some people in this town would. I'm not going to sit there and just gush over Manny Machado for literally just existing like some people in this town would.
Right. And then when he has his RBI double to win on May 19th after he started the year hitting 199, told you.
Like haters, I told you. Everyone apologized to Manny. It's but actually, sorry, there's standards
what
here, guys.
People should do is they should look back at the entirety of his year and hold him accountable for it.
Yeah.
It's just flat out nowhere near expectations. Forget about the team. His individual performance, there may be reasons for it. Maybe he was hurt. I think he was. But he's playing and he's expected to perform when on the field.
Yeah.
And he's paid as if he should be MVP caliber every year of his prime. Yeah. And he was in 2022, and he was nowhere near it in 2023. And that's just an honest statement. We told you in 2022, he carried them, and he was nearly the MVP, deservedly so. And he underperformed in 2023. That's just a fact.
Yeah. And it is watching Bryce Harper do what he's doing in Philadelphia. By the way, he has a chance for another home run here. He's at the plate with 2 on in the bottom of the 8th inning. If he hits another home run right here, it'd be crazy. But what Bryce Harper has done in the postseason the last 2 years for the Phillies, just, hey, I'm going to put you guys on my back and we're going to the World Series. Or I'm put you guys on my back and I'm winning this series for you. That's like the dream for what you want Manny Machado to be. You want Manny Machado to be the bus driver. You do not want him to be the passenger. You want him, and that's what I talked about in the NLCS last year. It was a big storyline that we didn't really talk about much, is Bryce Harper carried the Phillies to the World Series. Manny Machado, albeit he had a couple home runs in that series, give me a moment. Give me a moment.
I'd have to go back, Jim, to be honest. I mean, here's my postseason moment, though. His homer off Kershaw. This is Dodger Stadium last year, game 2 or game 1. They lost that game. Wait, he homered off Kershaw last year in the postseason, did he not?
He did. You're right. Game 2, when they needed to get out to
when they needed to win the game to split.
They needed to win. Yeah. That was a good moment.
Yeah. Again, not
a series like maybe.
It was it was. I mean, they're down a game. It was a big moment. Here's the end of the day point. I don't feel as if we're unfairly critical. I feel as if we're critical. Okay, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Unfairly critical is like the guy finishes second in MVP, and you're like, why didn't he win the MVP? Or the guy hits 500 in the NLCS, but you say, yeah, but they lost the NLCS. Yeah, but he hit 500 in 6 games, and he hit 5 home runs. Like, I feel as if we're being reasonably critical based on the expectations of the player that is the highest paid player in the history of the city.
Yeah, being a hater, and this is going to a different sport now, being a hater is when Brock Purdy last week went 21 of 22, and you criticize him for the one pass he didn't make. That's being a hater. Okay. When you see a performance by somebody and you try to nitpick it to find a critical aspect of his performance. Mm-hmm. Manny Machado went 3 for 4 in the game with 3 home runs. Hey, but that one strikeout he had that 7th inning was really bad.
Yeah.
Like did Bryce Harper strike out?
He grounded out.
Okay. So again, Bryce Harper, 2 home runs tonight. If you want to be a hater, you can say, dude, that 8th inning to have an opportunity at 3 home runs, you didn't get it done.
Right.
He's no Reggie Jackson.
Right. That's just stupid, obviously.
Yeah,
but
but
with Machado's year, it's
People
like, just look at his year. It was nowhere near good enough, and he's got to be way better in 2024. Set up the sound. Do we have this sound? I have no clue what's going on in this thing, but somehow the Padres are comped to the Jags as disappointing teams.
it's on a pot. Thanks to Darnay
Thank you, Darnay.
for putting this on our radar.
Producer Darnay.
And this was on the Dominic Foxworth podcast.
I don't know about it.
He is a former Dominic Foxworth. He's played in the NFL. You recognize him if you saw him.
What?
Kevin Clark.
Hey, Dominique.
Kevin Clark for ESPN. He's a football columnist for the Wall Street Journal. And they were talking about the Jaguars' talent and how they're, I guess, not living up to it. I don't really know if the Jaguars have this like great talent.
Do they have
on their
overwhelming talent? Like top 5 NFL talent?
I don't know. But they're comparing the Jaguars, which they feel like have this overwhelming talent, to the Padres. Listen to this.
Can I get over my skis on a cross sports analogy?
I love it.
Charlie?
Let's do it. Let's grade it.
I went to a baseball game. No big deal. Earlier this summer, and it was against the Padres, Yankees against Padres, okay? And every time there was a Padres guy, not a huge baseball guy, I'd Google him, and it'd be like, oh, this guy's like a 4-time All-Star. He's amazing. He's crushing it this year. He's one of the best young players in baseball. Every single time, I'd be a name pop up, I'd Google it. It's like, hey, this guy's amazing. And I'd say to my buddy, so these guys must be awesome. And they're like, no, these guys suck. And it's like with the Jaguars, sometimes I watch these guys and I'm just like, oh, this guy seems generational. Oh, this guy seems like the best athlete I've seen on a football field in a couple of weeks. And then you see weeks where they just can't put it together. And I'm not saying they're the Padres because I don't know anything about the Padres organization other than what I just described. I literally just emptied out my notebook of Padres knowledge. But what I will say is that I just feel like it's that kind of team where the talent and the top end talent doesn't match the potential on the field.
It's the beauty of football is the top end talent is never enough. You got to be all on the same accord, like we are here with our producers and our co-host.
Padres Jags comparison. What was it yesterday from Nick Wright? Brock Purdy is Mario Chalmers, which is these are both very random.
Very random, but I thought it was interesting how the first thing that Kevin Clark thought of on this podcast was
how disappointing the Padres are.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh, they have this guy. They got this all-star. They got this all-star. Oh, they suck. Oh, okay.
Real quick, because Cooper McDonald's going to join us on the other side, San Diego State linebacker. Jeff Passan tweet.
Oh, gosh, you're going to just destroy this.
Jose Abreu just hit his 3rd home run in 2 days. This one, an opposite field shot off Caleb Thielbar, who had come into the game to face the L-L-R-L pocket in the Astros lineup, like left, right, left. The R got him. And the Astros now lead the Twins, who need to win to save their season. He's trying too hard. Am I wrong?
That's a very try-hard tweet. I agree.
He's like, everyone has that one friend that he thinks that what's coming out of his mouth is like poetry.
Yes.
But to everyone else, it just sounds like BS.
It's like his articles. He uses some words. I'm like, man.
Yeah, he did a pass in there.
He really did. All right, on the other side, Cooper McDonald, San Diego
Doing a
State
pass.
linebacker, Aztecs Hawaii coming up on Saturday at 8 o'clock Pacific. Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker, joins us on the other side. Jim's back page. Still ahead. Stay with us. Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker, Aztecs in Hawaii this Saturday night. What's it going to take to pick up a win and end this losing streak? We'll talk to Cooper next.
All right, John. This update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Can I say a game that's already been final? Or should I not? Because it's in the past now.
Is it today?
It's right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the game's in the past, though. So it's okay if I say it?
Yeah, because it's today.
Phillies, they just beat the Braves 10-2. They now lead that series 2-1. Astros Twins, game 4 of that series. Houston looking to close out the Twins and move on to face the Rangers in the ALCS. They have a 3-1 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning there. And the D-backs and Dodgers get underway in Arizona in about a half hour from now, as the D-backs are looking to sweep the Dodgers and move on to the NLCS. There's a whole lot of savings going on now at Staples during Staples Sit-a-thon. Save up to $150 on select office and desk chairs. And when you buy a chair, you save 25% on desks, storage solutions, and office accessories in store only. Offer ends 10/28. Now is the time to save at Staples. Put that thing in the Marconi Awards.
Cooper McDonald, San Diego State linebacker, will join us momentarily. Aztecs Rainbow Warriors, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Both teams desperately need a win. San Diego State 2-4, Hawaii 2-4. Aztecs have been bowl eligible for 14 consecutive seasons. That's a lot of seasons, Jim. Jim facts. 14 consecutive.
Thanks, John.
That'd be like 14 years in a row.
I know, John.
So we'll see if we can catch up with Cooper McDonald. I think we will in just a couple of minutes. Just a couple of minutes off the practice field for the Aztecs, who will leave for Hawaii the day before the game. That's the way they do it on the Mesa. They've had success doing it that way. Like, can you imagine going to Hawaii for the night? We're going to Vegas for the night.
I know.
San Diego State's going to Hawaii, Honolulu for the night. Would you be like, if you could do a free trip, you're going to go with San Diego State, you'll do pregame.
For a night?
Yeah, but you're going to go Friday and you're coming back Saturday after the game. All expense paid, right? You got your flight, you got your hotel. Would you be on board for that or not?
Well, of course I would. But
no, I'm serious. I mean, I think it's a real question.
Back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, man, I wish I could stay longer.
Right. It's like when you're in college sports like this. Like, this isn't a bowl game. They were in Hawaii last year for the bowl game, but this is, hey, leave Friday,
business trip,
come back Saturday. I think Brady Hoke's saying this week we're going to be there for 17 hours, and the only goal is to win the game. Cooper McDonald is with us, San Diego State linebacker. Aztecs, Rainbow Warriors, Saturday night, 8 o'clock Pacific. Our pregame coverage will begin at 6 p.m. Cooper, we appreciate you joining us here on San Diego Sports 760. You know the math here. I mean, obviously it's one game at a time, but you're 2-4, 6 regular season games remaining. Obviously, you want to get to bowl eligibility at least. What's the mindset of this team coming off the bye week and knowing what's still ahead?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. I think the bye week really got us going. It's just another time for us to kind of collect our thoughts and reflect on what's been going on the past, like all the past previous games, watching the film and getting better. I think it's only going to benefit. We got 6 games left, and we can easily go 8-4. So, it's just about everyone getting bought in. I feel everyone's bought in right now. So we've been having a good week of practice, and everyone's attitudes are good. So we're just going to go out there and play our hardest.
Cooper, heading into this second stretch of the season here, defensively, what has been the key to the most what you need to improve on the most?
I'd say getting the ball back. The first 2 games we were really good at getting the ball back, and then after that, from every game on, we kind of just, I wouldn't say just lay low, but we were able to get the ball back for our offense. That's the most important thing, is being able to have the ball in our offense's hands and, raising that time of possession, and just that's more opportunities for them to go down and score.
Cooper McDonald with us right now, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We were just talking about this, Cooper. Maybe you heard us. Like, this Hawaii trip is a little different than other road trips. I mean, you're there just for a night. You're making the trip all the way out to the islands. Is the approach or mindset any different with this game as opposed to a traditional road game that isn't in Hawaii?
I don't think so. I think it's just another business trip. That's what Coach Hoke has been harping on. We're only going to be there for maybe, like 20 hours, I would assume. So,
yeah.
Get there, play the game, and then get on the plane and come back. So it's just a business trip. It's not like the Hawaii Bowl. We were there for a week. So we know what we're going in there for, and we're going to work hard at it and hopefully get the win.
Tell me if I'm wrong here, Cooper, but it sounds kind of like, even after this 4-game losing streak and the loss against Air Force a couple weeks ago, that spirits seem fairly high for you guys, and you guys feel, fairly confident going into this second, stage of the season, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's nothing to hang our heads low about. Or like I said earlier, we got 6 games left, and we can easily, who knows what's going to happen in the Mountain West with all the other teams. So we can finish out 8-4, and hopefully we'll have 2 more games after that. So, there's a lot to look forward to, and there's a lot to keep playing for.
Cooper, the offense, I mean, obviously you play on the defense, but you're facing off against your offense each and every day in practice. You've watched kind of the evolution of San Diego State's offense from where it was last year. Offense really from last year when you got here to where the offense is right now.
Yeah, I'd say it's a huge improvement, from the play calling and just the overall execution of what all the players are doing. Mark, when he gets the ball, it's always a big play. Our receivers are doing well. Our whole line's blocking well. Our quarterback play is doing really well. So I think we can only build off it. It's only going to keep getting better.
Cooper, for you, who has been a couple standouts on the defensive side of the football that you think should deserve a little more praise, or maybe, it should be watched more from the fan base?
I would say my fault, Hudson, and then Noah Cumberland. Those guys have been balling out these past previous games, and I know they're going to keep doing the same. So I'm happy to see them doing well. It's only helping us, so we got to get everyone else on board with that and playing well as well.
You were asked about this by me yesterday in the weekly press conference, but I'm just so curious, Caden's thoughts. Your older brother who played at San Diego State, obviously was here for years, part of some really successful teams. What's it been like for you in your interactions with your brother as he watches San Diego State football from afar?
Yeah, so talking to him, like, he played the defense. He watches on TV, obviously, and he knows all the calls. And he'll just be like, "Oh, that's that call right there," and he'll, I'll get texts from him and call after. Tell me what I can do better on this play, what I can do then. And obviously, that's the Boise game. He was there in person. He said, he just wishes he could have been out there. It just felt so out of control. Like he couldn't really do anything about it.
Cooper, from a mindset standpoint, I feel like it's hard to just practice tackling, because it's one of those things where you kind of have to have a mindset to make the tackle, finish off the tackle. and it's been a little bit of a struggle for you guys this year at times. How do you go about focusing on tackling and practicing it, or is it just mostly like, hey, our mindset has to be we cannot let whoever break 2 or 3 or 4 tackles, in this game?
Yeah, for sure. I think it all goes back to just the way we practice. That's something we've been harping on in the bye week, especially tackling. It's also some big plays that eventually led to us, us to losing. So I think that's a big part of our practices is working on our tackling. It's just a matter of fact of wanting to get the guy down and getting the guy down at all costs. So.
And for anybody out there wondering, like, well, are you just tackling each other? Like, what do you specifically do in practice that is going to help you with tackling? Is it like you guys are going up against each other and making sure that nobody breaks any tackles, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we started this new thing called goal line tackle, where 2 guys are facing each other on the goal line, and there's 2 pads stacked up in the ball. It's on one side of the pad, and then we goal line tackle head up. He's basically working on clubbing and wrapping right in your feet. I think it's just seeing through the bye week and through this week has helped us out a lot.
I'm looking forward to Saturday night. Really big game for both these programs. San Diego State and Hawaii both need a win. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760, 8 o'clock Pacific, with pregame coverage beginning at 6 p.m. Cooper, really appreciate your time. Safe travels. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll do it again.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, thank you. Cooper McDonald, senior linebacker, brother of Caden McDonald, transfer from the University of Washington. By the way, Huskies Ducks this weekend. He was asked about that yesterday. 2 undefeated teams in the Pac-12, and he's getting ready for Hawaii this upcoming Saturday night.
That is interesting about the tackling thing, because I always wonder that, because obviously I didn't play football and I never played in the NFL. Breaking news, Jim Facts.
Wait, hold on. What?
Yeah, I know. Or college. But like the tackling aspect.
I thought you and Warnberger both went 4th round.
We did. I was on that 2007 Patriots team with Rich on the sidelines.
No, he wasn't there in 07.
Or no, sorry, 2011. My bad.
Yeah,
2011.
Yep.
Like, how do you practice tackling? Like, what goes into that? And that's interesting to hear. It's something I didn't know.
That's great, Jim.
Peace out. I'll see you at the airplane.
The airplane. Yeah, we're going to Vegas tonight, by the way. Mountain West Media Days. Jim is so mad at me. Go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. He's literally. Can I? All right, Jim's going to get ready for the back page on the other side. Please don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, speaking of Windmill Farms, I was just there last week, hung out with the owner, Trevor. It's amazing to hear about Trevor's family and how long they've been in the grocery business. I mean, literally for decades. They love supporting local as well. In fact, he shared how Mr. G Salsa, based right here in San Diego, delivers and stocks their amazing salsas each and every week. We've been telling you about Windmill Farms. Hey, guys, again, it is Schaefer. They are the college area's natural grocer. This is your spot to pick up all your game day needs for each and every weekend. I've been telling you about their sandwiches as well. During your work week, they really pride themselves on keeping those prices low and having the best ingredients possible. Also, they've got double ad Wednesdays, like today, where they got all these specials going on right now, like Smart Chicken Organic, air chilled bone and chicken thighs, $3.97 per pound. That's going on right now. So again, they're located right here, centrally located, right by Montezuma Mesa. Whatever you need, whether it's the craft beer selection, whether it's the produce and meats, whether it's the deli, again, with these sandwiches, you pick up a sandwich card, your 8th sandwich is free. You got to check them out. It's an amazing place right by San Diego State, centrally located, windmillfarmsmarket.com. We've been telling you about that. Or on Instacart, you can have your groceries delivered directly to your doorstep. Check them out. Shop local. Shop at Windmill Farms. All right, wish us luck. We're going to Vegas together tonight.
Do we survive?
Show tomorrow, Mountain West Media Day. Mountain West preseason poll will be released at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I'm going to wake Jim.
No, you're not.
To share the news. I mean, San Diego State has to be preseason number. The fact that San Diego State has to be preseason number 1, right? You don't make the national championship game and get picked to finish 4th in the Mountain West next year, do you?
You wake me up. Talk to me.
If they're not number 1, I'm waking you.
You wake me up. Talk about preseason poll rankings.
I will.
I'll murder you.
You think is San Diego State gonna have preseason player of the year? Not Jaden?
Sure.
I'm waking you. No, I won't wake you. But we'll broadcast tomorrow, 3 p.m. Brian Dutcher, Lamont Butler, Darion Trammell, Commissioner of the Mountain West, Gloria Navarez. Hope to be joined by Mark Few, head coach of Gonzaga. Aztecs and Zags will play this year, so join us tomorrow at 3 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, let's get to this.
Taco Bell is in the news because they're adding a brand new taco to their menu. The first time, Taco Bell will be adding breakfast tacos to its menu.
They've never had them?
Beginning tomorrow.
Taco Bell has never had breakfast tacos?
Didn't they do breakfast tacos and they got rid of them? Didn't they do like a, what was it, like a shellless taco? Because remember, it was like an egg white for a shell or something.
But this might be a legit breakfast taco.
For a limited time, starting tomorrow, for just $1.49. The tacos are going to include egg and cheese with an option to add bacon, sausage, or potato folded in a toasted tortilla.
Is Taco Bell a breakfast spot? Like before this, like what are you getting at Taco Bell for breakfast? To Brent's point,
Taco Bell did bring back. They did have breakfast on the menu in 2021.
But then they got rid of it.
Most of it.
They got rid of most of it.
Yeah, they only brought back the Crunch Wrap.
Wow.
So this is a brand new taco that will be debuting tomorrow. Does not say how long this will be on the menu for, but I mean it looks pretty good. Look at that.
Does it? Yeah, it looks very good.
Yeah.
But they punt traditionally on breakfast. That surprises me.
Why should it surprise you?
Because breakfast tacos.
I'm kind of disappointed with it.
The look?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you got to eat it first.
Well,
Brent.
it's not that. When I hear breakfast tacos, I expect like all that stuff only in like a crunchy taco shell. They just pretty much put it in a quesadilla shell or whatever they use for a quesadilla as a Taco Bell.
Tortilla.
Yeah, I'd rather have
like a crunchy taco.
Yeah. When I think taco, I typically think of like crunchy, hard shell tacos.
Oh, I think soft.
I think soft too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
What else you have?
Speaking of tacos, Yelp recently just compiled this year's top 100 taco spots in the nation. Well, one place in San Diego, in Spring Valley, came in at number 15 on the list.
Well, hold on. There's only one place in San Diego in the top 100 taco spots. This is controversial and should have led the show. There's one spot in San Diego County that's in the top 100 of taco shops in America.
Sorry, there's two.
Still, I think it should be 4+. What are the two?
Tacos El Gabacho. I've never heard of this place before. It's in Spring Valley.
Not Tacos El Gordo?
No. That's what I thought when I started reading it.
Yeah.
And the Craft Taco at Sova.
Okay.
So Tacos El Gabacho came in at number 15 on the list. And the Craft Taco at Sova came in at number 23. Tacos El Gabacho is known for its mobile catering service and taco cart. It's not even really a taco, it's not even like a Mexican restaurant. But it came in the top 20.
How many in the top 15 in North Carolina?
Probably like 7. If it was
7 of the top 10 were
and then we would
Raleigh and Durham.
And we would know for a fact that Will Myers would be making that list then.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, John, a pumpkin is synonymous with fall and Thanksgiving and
Jim facts.
Halloween, right? Well, A pumpkin set the world record for largest ever grown. Guess how much this pumpkin weighed. This is the largest ever recorded pumpkin grown ever.
That's a tough question.
1,000 pounds.
I'll say 603. 600 pounds.
2,749 pounds this pumpkin weighed.
Do you have
I
a
knew it was
picture?
gonna be a lot.
Yeah, right here.
I saw the picture of it, but I didn't
Did
read
you?
the article today. Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
How many seeds are in that thing?
Probably a lot.
Yeah, but you can eat pumpkin seeds though.
You toast them and
we
like
used to always eat those as kids.
You can't really toast a 2,700 pound pumpkin unless you have a really big oven.
You take the seeds
you
out.
take the seeds out, John.
then
You like
toast
carve it out and you take the seeds out.
But the thing's like the size of a U-Haul.
It's honestly, it looks like the size. Someone could like live in that thing.
Really?
That thing would probably go for at least.
That's not.
Wasn't that like a fairy tale? Didn't somebody live in a pumpkin?
Where'd they do this?
This is at the pumpkin growing world championships in Minnesota. No, sorry, Half Moon Bay. My bad, California. The person who won, Travis, is from Minnesota. Not our Travis, another Travis.
Did he bring this 2,700 pound pumpkin from Minnesota to California?
Well, yeah, John, he had to.
Good point.
Flatbed truck.
They said that this pumpkin could produce at least 687 pumpkin pies.
That's amazing.
Could feed a whole county.
All right, guys, join us tomorrow from Vegas, Mountain West Media Day, San Diego State. We'll talk to Brian Dutcher, Lamont Butler, Darion Trammell, and more. Join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. We'll be at Resorts World in Las Vegas. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. If you're listening to the podcast, please leave a review as well. Find us on YouTube. Search for Jon and Jim 760. Find us on social at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Brady Hoke Show on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Okay.